My name is Ruben Cota. I am the owner and founder of the Stache House Barbershop. I have been in business since 2018. Well, I've been cutting hair for about 13 years now, and I didn't want to be working for anyone my whole life. I didn't want to work for someone, making them money off of my skills, whether if I thought they were basic, mediocre, or amazing or whatever. I just didn't want to make someone else profit off of myself. And I was like, why don't I just do that myself? So I decided to venture off on my own. As stressful and scary as it was, I was like, now's the time to do it, because it was getting to a point to where working for people was making me dislike my passion. So my wife said, because I was thinking, like, I'm going to quit cutting hair and I'm going to work a regular job, whatever that regular job was. Definition of a regular job to me is the normal 9 to 5. You clock in, clock out, and that's it. Well, she's like, don't do that. You love what you do. Go somewhere else. So I was like, you're right. Why would I stop doing what I enjoy just because I'm in a place that I'm not happy with? So I ventured out on my own, or the process of venturing on my own. It was like, all right, I got to come up with a name. I couldn't think of any names. Couldn't think of any names at all. But for about 6 years, I had a ridiculous handlebar mustache. A ridiculous handlebar mustache. Everyone hated it. My wife especially hated it. But I liked it. I thought it was the coolest thing ever, And so that is part of what helped me with the name, was the mustache. But I wanted it to be kind of like a double meaning. Growing up, I didn't have, like a lot of us, especially growing up in Arizona, didn't have positive influences. So I was one of those that didn't have positive influence growing up. So, like a lot of young Hispanic dudes in Arizona, what do? We go to do bad things, criminal activity, whether it's selling drugs, stealing, robbing, all types of stuff. But I didn't do stealing or robbing or anything like that. I sold drugs. And it's definitely nothing I'm proud of, but I am proud of is funny or weird as it may sound, of the life skills that has taught me. And it's made it to where it's helped me in my business, that no matter how hard it gets, it's just money. It's gonna always be there. So the Stache House the meaning of it was the fact that a stash house, we all know, can either be a location that either holds a lot of drugs or a lot of money, or makes a lot of money. And that's where I wanted that to come from, is make a lot of money. It'll hold a lot of money. It might not be a lot of money to some people, but it's a lot of money for myself, and I'm happy with that. So it's actually attracted a lot of different types of clientele because of my name. And and a lot of people have asked, what's the meaning of it? And I've told them that exact thing. Like, I'm not going to judge how you make your money to pay me for your services, but I don't want to know about it either. I don't want to know. So it's kind of like that, double meaning in it. The Stache House, but I also needed to incorporate my stupid handlebar mustache in there as well. So that's how I came up with the name. When I first got into barber school, I hated it. I just sucked at it. I wanted to quit so much. I never had an idea, my entire life, to cut hair at all. The only time I've ever even touched a pair of clippers was to, a little bit of manscaping or whatever, shave my head every so often, whatever. But that is it. Cutting hair was never in the plan. But once I started getting into barber school, met a bunch of cool people in there, and I could never understand the concept of cutting hair. So it was getting more frustrating, more difficult, more of things pushed in my face. Like, dude, just stop. You're not going anywhere with this. Then the friends that I made in there, and I still speak to them to this day. Dude, just stop trying to copy everyone. You need to dissect all these techniques and kind of blend them and make them your own. Just kind of do your own thing or whatever. Once I finally understood what they meant by that, everything started clicking. Everything started to fall into place. The haircuts still were trash, but the concept was making sense to me. I was able to comprehend what the goal was. I was finally able to see what the end picture was supposed to be, which is the haircut, before the haircut was even done. Millions and millions of times, the haircut never matched the picture that was in my head, though. So, but the passion started to build and form, and it was starting to ignite things. I'm like, man, this is awesome. This is fun. I'm enjoying it. Even though, like I said, even though the haircuts were literally trash, but what was cool was like, man, this is the first time in my life that I've actually was doing or repetitively that I actually enjoy. Even though the outcome was something completely different, the process of it was a blast. And that's when I started realizing, like, this is a challenge for myself. And I was enjoying the challenges, all the trials, all that stuff. The frustration, everything, I was enjoying it. So that is when it was towards probably the end of barber school that made me actually, heck yeah, I'm somewhere where I'm supposed to be.
Was the haircuts that you were doing for barber school, was it for free? Or it was $5, you said?
It was, they were $5, but I don't want to say that people were complaining about it, because it's like, that's the whole purpose of you going to the barber school. You're getting and a lot of times people weren't even paying the $5. It's in a rough part of town. No one in that area. Not saying that there is no money, but there's a lot of people that don't have the money to go and just spend, $15 back then for a full haircut. So they would go to the barber school, and it benefited us because we needed to learn how to do it. So it was like one of those things, like, you knew what you signed up for going into a barber school. You literally were risking that you were going to either go in there and have this student that it was their very first day, their first time even picking up a pair of clippers. You were that first person that they learned how to turn the clipper on. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you knew what you were signing up for. Or there's a lot of students that will go to barber school and they've been cutting hair for 10, 15, 20 years. But then they're like, now I need to be legal. Now I need to get my barber license or whatever. Or they've been always cutting at different barber shops under the table type stuff. Because there's, as crazy it is, that's what happens. A lot of people cut hair without their license, and the barber board is only a certain amount of people. It's hard to keep up with thousands of barbers, so it's like, it's real easy for barbers to slip under the radar. But yeah, you're taking the risk of someone learning how to turn the clipper with you, or someone that's a veteran at cutting hair and a phenomenal barber. When you go into barber school, I want to open up my own barber shop. I want to open up my own barber shop. I want to have 2 barbershops, 3 barbershops. I want to have a franchise of barbershops. And I'll admit, that was a goal of mine probably before I left barber school. So I'm like, I want to own my own barbershop, this and that. And it just kind of seemed like that's what you do. That's what barbers do, is you go to barber school and you open a barber shop. Well, it's not like that. Even after being a licensed barber for so many years, I was like, I want to open up my own barber shop. But then I started maturing in my skill and in myself and everything, and realized, like, it's a pain in the butt. I don't want to be anyone's boss. I don't want to tell these adults how to work. I have very high standards for my work for myself. I do know that having a barber shop, you have to understand, or a storefront with multiple barbers, you have to understand that some of these barbers are just there for the quick money. Because barbering, it can be quick money. It can be very quick money and good money. But there's only going to be very few that care enough about your establishment as you do. Very few. The high standards that I keep for myself keeps me in line and in check to where, yeah, I don't want to have a barbershop. I don't want that. Because my standards, I'm going to be upset because so-and-so and so-and-so's standards aren't as high as mine. So how is that going to make me look when I'm just like not happy with another adult because they're doing their job the best they can, or to their knowledge that it's the best that they're doing, and here I am like, why aren't you doing anything like how I'm doing it or whatever? You know, that's not fair. That's not fair for them. It's not fair for me. But then you got those other barbers that they are very good, but they're like picking and choosing the clients they want to cut hair. You know, they want to take their breaks longer than they should or whatever. Now it's like the shop is, you're losing money because they're just like, I don't feel like cutting their hair because they're, you know, I don't like what they're wearing, or I don't like their cologne. They come in and they stink, or just whatever, you know what I mean? So it's like a lot of hassle in that. They don't want to clean up the areas. Like, you have this immaculate barber shop, but this one barber is just dirty, never sweeps around their area, lets everyone else sweep around their stuff. Their counter space is just unorganized and so much trash. It's like the person that just had their haircut is going to leave a review saying, oh, I got an okay haircut, but his workstation was filthy. He or she didn't really talk to me, or just whatever, just a bad review. And whose review does it go on? It goes on to the establishment's review. Doesn't go to that barber. And it's like, reviews, especially today, are big. Whether they're good reviews or bad reviews, they're huge. It will impact so many, especially small businesses. If you get 200 reviews and 60 of them are terrible, people are going to be, you're going to still get some traffic in there. They're going to be like, oh, all the rest of these reviews are amazing, but these 60 are bad. It's like 1,000 people seen those 60 and they're like, nope, move along. You gained 100 other clients, but 1,000 people just went past because of those 60 terrible reviews. And it had nothing to do with the person that actually owns it and busts his butt or her butt because the barbers don't hold their standards high enough. So that's why I got out of wanting that own my own barbershop thing. My goal now is, and it's because I hear so many clients complain about the barbers that they've had, or all the experience that they've had at shops or with other barbers or stuff like that. I hold my standards so high that you got your haircut today, you come back and see me again 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 7 months from now, a year goes by, it is going to be the exact same consistent haircut that you got the first time you came to see me. Or it'll be your 100th haircut and it's going to be the exact same thing. It's going to be, and it's not just the haircut, it is the walking in here It is the presence that I make sure that I always have. Not only in the music that I have playing here, it's always pretty much the same music for the most part. And my favorite music is Hawaiian style reggae. And that right there that's my comfort. I feel good listening to that stuff. If people have not listened to that, you have to listen to it, because it is very, very, very difficult to stay mad. If you're in an upset mood or whatever, yeah, it's a momentarily thing, but sometimes we just need that moment not to feel a certain way to make us feel better. If you're mad and you come in here and you listen to my music like that, maybe up until 5 minutes before you're about to leave, you're upset, but once you leave, you're in a way better mood. Not just because of the music, but just my whole environment that I do. I'm consistent in my music. I'm consistent in my mediocre haircuts. I am consistent. Most importantly, my personality is consistent. Chatterbox, I like to talk, especially if it's people I don't know. I like to know who they are. I like to know, oh, you got, you have a husband, a wife, you got kids, are you here by yourself? Are you from Arizona? Where are you from? I like knowing about people, and I genuinely do want to know, but you'll never say like, oh, he was a chatterbox, last week. And then, I go in today and he's like, oh, is Ruben mad at me today? Or did he wake up on the wrong side of the bed? Or, is he going through some stuff? Absolutely not. Client will never, ever, ever see or feel that something's wrong with me. And is stuff ever wrong with me sometimes? Absolutely, I'm human. We all have bad days, but it is way more important for them to get their services done correctly, mindfully, all that stuff, than me being like in such a terrible place in my head where the consistency is out the window. So everything that I do is consistent. And that's the high standards that I keep for myself. And so with all that, I don't want a barbershop. I want to open up a barber school. And it's not just to show how to cut hair. Because again, I'm not the greatest barber. My haircuts are not the greatest. They're just consistent. That's it. But haircuts is a skill-based thing. And you can teach anyone how to cut hair, whether they like it or not. As long as they do these haircuts repetitively, they're gonna pick it up. Yeah, the person that enjoys it more than the person that doesn't, they'll probably be better at it, and the haircuts might look a lot better, but you'll still be able to cut hair. We see with a lot of these franchises that, you pay 10, 15 bucks, you're in and you're out. That's it. And that is their goal, is get you in and out. They're not trying to give you the best haircut. It's a convenient thing. What goes along with any customer service thing, and I would say barbering is one of the few tops of customer service, especially one-on-one with people. You gotta learn how to speak to people. You have to learn how to translate what they're trying to say. It's not the client's job to explain their haircut to me how they want it, because they can say how they want their haircut and I might picture something, but if I just go with what I'm picturing in my head because I misunderstood them or I didn't ask a million questions about it, I'm gonna give them a haircut that they're like, dude, this is not what I wanted. Like, oh, well, you said this and that, and then like all of a sudden they're like, no, that's not what I wanted, and they go and pull up a picture and I'm like, this is what I want, and it's a completely different haircut. That's my fault, because I have to know this dude don't know what the heck he's talking about at all. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He just knows he wants a haircut and he knows an idea of what he wants. But that's where the barber needs to know, you got to ask a lot of questions. So I ask a lot of questions. The barber school that I went to didn't teach you that. Didn't teach you to talk to your clients. Didn't teach you to be personable at all. So when, it's not if, it's when I do have my barber school, and I'm going to do it. And I'm already at steps at getting to that place. I will make sure that the people that leave there are ready to maybe not start their own business, but get a very good idea and a good grasp on the concept of being able to do that. There's going to be tons of people that can leave a barber school and be like, I'm ready to open a barber school and be successful and amazing at it. Lots of people can do that. Lots of people cannot do that. But I want to show people, bring these high standards in volumes instead of with just an individual, just one person. Like, if I can help people, like, hey, you got to talk to people like this. Yeah, I get it. You like listening to, to rap while you are cutting hair like that. Keeping your headphones in your ears while you're cutting hair, it makes the client think, damn, this dude don't give a damn about me. And it's like, it's just a haircut. Like, people come in here and they're just getting a haircut. Sometimes they're silent or whatever, but I'm not going to have headphones in my ear and you come in to get a haircut. It's like, damn, like, you don't even want to know where I'm from or how I even came about coming to your place to get a haircut with you or whatever. Absolutely not. The barber school that I will have, it's going to show the importance of being personal. Speak to your clients. You want to build a clientele from the get-go. You don't want to go get your barber license, go to a barber shop and sit on your butt and complain that, like, oh, there's no walk-ins, there's this and that. Well, yeah, it's not the barber shop's responsibility to get you clients. It's your responsibility. They're supplying the work area, the electricity, all that, but you're paying for that. So why are you paying for something that still should be your own responsibility, like bring your clientele in? A lot of times we grow up not knowing that we have a personality, or it's a personality in a negative way or whatever. So you kind of just seclude yourself. I make sure that my personality is the best that I can make it be. I'm not fake. I'm not saying like, oh, you need to fake a personality. It's not that. Like, I am the same while I'm working and even out with my family, with my friends. I talk a lot of crap. I think I'm funny sometimes, and I can also be serious like that. But it is the same in here and out there. The jokes I make, with my wife and stuff like that, I make those jokes in here, or talk about the funny things my wife and I talk about or whatever. Like, my personality is the same. Again, the haircut is just a small piece of it. It's the knowing how to be clean and a personality. Those are way more important than doing a haircut. I make sure that I treat every client that comes in here like I'm going to see them again 2, 3, 4 weeks from now, 2 months from now. I treat them like I'm going to see them again. And if I don't see them again, that is okay. But they're going to refer people to me. Hey, I was passing through Phoenix, cool person, we talked the whole time, all these things. I had a great experience all around. The haircut was good, the conversation was great, just the environment was amazing. So I get the referrals that way too. And so, because it is one of those things, like, you have to have a personality. I'm not saying you need to be a comedian or a politician and stuff like that. You just have to know how to speak to people. That's it. If you could go somewhere, where would you go? Like, just things to talk about. And sometimes I've realized, like, sometimes I've asked questions that people have never been asked these questions before. And the same thing. I've had clients ask me certain things where I'm like, I don't even know how to answer that because I've never been asked that before. I never thought about that or whatever. The personality outweighs the barber skill. Big time. I still get clients in here all the time. I have clients that I am their backup barber when I am totally okay with that. Or I have clients that will reach out to me and they'll need like a last minute haircut, and I'm like, I'm sorry, man, I'm completely booked. And back to those standards. My standards are I have a strict schedule, and the whole goal at the end of the day is to go eat dinner with my family as many days out of the week as possible. Could I work here till midnight? Absolutely. Could I enjoy working here till midnight? Oh yeah, for sure. But my son don't care that I made so much money from working 15 hours. He don't care. He does not care. He just cares about like, why aren't you eating dinner with us again or whatever. So I hold my standards to even down to my schedule. But they'll say like, dude, I'm so sorry, man. I gotta cheat on you. I have to get a haircut. I have this important meeting tomorrow. I'm like, look, we have an open relationship. We can see whoever we want, and it's nothing personal. I know I'm gonna see you again. You gotta go get a haircut. Go get a haircut. Have there been times where I've lost some clients that way? Absolutely. And that I don't take personal either. No matter what struggles you have dealt with or dealing with, and you're at lost. You're lost at what you want to do, because I was there. I literally I would wake up every day dreading going to work. And I would be miserable, unhappy, all that stuff. It's one of those things, like, no matter what you're going through, and I'm not saying like, oh, you're going to go to barber school, you're just going to be just this amazing person. Like, I'm not saying like it's just going to be like rainbows and sunshine and, unicorns and glitter falling on. I'm not going to say that. It's not like fabulous things, but someone that wants to go and they're interested but they're scared, as long as you try, you're going to get there. It's like we've all been there.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much, brother.